Do you want to be more successful in everything you do? More peace, more clarity, and a life that finally makes sense? Then look at what's around you, what you've been doing every single day. Because it's not the distant future that changes your life, it's what you put in order today. The Stoics already knew this. They understood that external disorder is nothing but the reflection of inner confusion, a scattered mind, a routine without direction, a life surrounded by distractions. All of this drains your energy without you realizing it. But when you decide to focus solely on putting things in order, something powerful happens. Small gestures become firm stones on which you build clarity, confidence, and new possibilities. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That phrase is the heart of transformation. Clarity is born when you bring order inside and outside of yourself, and act in alignment with what you want to build. That's exactly what we'll do here. In this video, we'll dive into 10 Stoic practices, true tools of war that work like shields against discouragement and like swords against stagnation. And here's the invitation. Write in the comments, "Today I create results," because every conscious decision is a new brick in the life you truly want to live. Practice 1. Train your concentration. If there's one skill that can transform your life, it's concentration. In a world full of distractions, where your attention is fought for every second, focus has become rare, and for that very reason, valuable. Whoever masters concentration has an enormous advantage. They can build, advance, and truly live in the present. Whoever doesn't master it feels like someone trying to fill a leaky bucket. No matter how much effort, everything slips away. Marcus Aurelius already faced this dilemma. Even in a world without internet or cell phones, he understood that the human mind always tries to escape the present. His advice was direct. Concentrate every minute like a Roman, seriously, precisely, and with justice. That is the essence of focus, an act of will, not of luck. And the enemy isn't only outside, in street noise, phone notifications, or surrounding chaos. It's also inside, the worries that return, the heavy emotions, the thoughts that keep knocking on the door. That inner noise is even more treacherous because it steals your peace without making a sound. Seneca knew this well. Living in a noisy house in Rome, surrounded by the constant sounds of the city, he wrote to a friend that he had learned to harden his nerves against external distractions. He said, "I force my mind to concentrate and prevent it from wandering toward external things. The environment can be noisy and chaotic, but as long as my mind remains calm, there is no real disturbance." That is the level of self-control we need to train. And it's not a natural gift. It's discipline, practice, patience. Meditation, daily journaling, silent reflection, and even intentionally disconnecting from distractions are like gym weights for the mind. Without concentration, we live on the surface. With concentration, we dive deep. Without it, we're blown by the wind. With it, we are the roots that hold firm. Your challenge. For the next 7 days, choose one simple task each day and give it your full attention. Write for 15 minutes without checking your phone. Cook a meal without distractions. Talk to someone while looking them in the eyes without interrupting. Be complete, not divided. As Seneca wrote, "No noise reaches you and no word pulls you out of your center." That's the state that transforms your life. Mark that commitment now by writing in the comments, "Today, I focus." Because this symbolic gesture is the first training step toward what can change everything, the ability to be truly present where your life happens. Practice 2. Build a strong body and a resilient mind. It may not sound like philosophy, but treating the body with rigor has everything to do with the life you want to build. When you neglect your body, you live tired, drained, dependent on chance. A fragile mind almost always grows out of a weakened body. The Stoics knew this. They ran, wrestled, carried weight, endured the cold. They were people who lived in motion. The phrase, "a healthy mind in a healthy body," made perfect sense to them. For them, mental strength and physical strength went hand in hand. Today, many set goals like having the body of their dreams or feeling stronger. But when we think of philosophers, we almost never imagine athletes or warriors. The common image is of someone sedentary, hunched over, out of shape. But ancient philosophers were the opposite. Socrates was a soldier, Cleanthes was a boxer, Marcus Aurelius hunted and wrestled. Seneca immersed himself in the freezing waters of the Tiber River. This wasn't vanity, it was training the spirit. Seneca said, "We treat the body with rigor so that it may not rebel against the mind." That phrase holds timeless truth. When the body rebels, the mind weakens. When the body is trained, the mind gains discipline. The body is like armor that protects the mind. Neglect it, and you become fragile. But when you choose physical effort, a run, a workout, even a simple walk, you're training the inner voice that says, "I can. I keep my promises. My mind rules my body." Your body almost never wants to move. It asks for rest, invents excuses, tries to convince you that tomorrow is better. But every time you get up and do what you need to do, you're not just building muscle, you're conquering clarity, discipline, and self-mastery. That is the true power of physical effort. It teaches you that you are capable of far more than you imagine. It transforms fatigue into energy, doubt into confidence, fear into strength. Your challenge. For the next 7 days, impose movement on your body. It could be something simple or something challenging. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you honor it as a pact with yourself. Every time you break inertia and move, you also strengthen your mind. With each step in this practice, you're not just building muscle, you're building a resilient soul, unbreakable, ready to face any battle. Practice 3. Change your attitude. You need to change the mind, not the place, for your failings will follow you wherever you go. Seneca. This phrase carries a powerful lesson. We often believe our problems are outside of us, in the environment, in people, in circumstances. But the real root of our struggles lies in something we always carry, our mind and our attitudes. Think of this practical situation. Someone moves houses hoping a new address will bring peace, order, and happiness. But after the move, the chaos and disorganization remain. Why? Because along with the boxes, they also carried their old habits. It's easy to fall into the illusion that changing external circumstances will fix everything. But as Seneca reminds us, the error is not in the circumstances, it's in the mind itself. Illness follows the sick. If you want real change, it's useless to change environments without first transforming what's inside you. It's like changing the movie's set without altering the script. Running away may look like a solution, but it doesn't resolve inner conflicts. Seneca provokes us with another phrase. If you want to escape your problems, you don't need to go to another place. You need to become another person. This doesn't mean abandoning your essence, but reforming your mindset and your attitudes. It's an invitation to courage, to look inward and face what needs adjustment. Admitting the problem may be in us is uncomfortable. It's easier to blame the job, the family, or circumstances, but recognizing it is liberating because if we're part of the problem, we can also be part of the solution. Stoicism teaches that true strength lies in taking responsibility for our lives. That demands conscious action, reviewing habits, challenging limiting beliefs, developing resilience. Acting means facing changes head-on, even if they bring discomfort. Running away, by contrast, means hiding behind distractions like social media, overwork, or other escapes that only delay the inevitable. Facing ourselves. Seneca believed happiness and inner peace don't come from external places or circumstances, but from the courage to confront our fears and grow. Running may seem easier at first, but the real journey begins when we choose to transform our interior. So instead of seeking new paths to escape, focus on building a resilient mindset, committed to growth. As Stoicism teaches, the change is not in the world around us, but in how we choose to face it. Remember, the key to a fuller life is always within you. Practice 4. Free yourself from bad vices. Seneca, with his Stoic wisdom, challenges us with a powerful reflection. He said, "Show me a man who is not a slave." He observed that even the masters of slaves carried their own chains, such as the overwhelming responsibility of maintaining properties and lives under their rule. For Seneca, true slavery was not physical, but mental. He explained, "One man is a slave to sex, another to money, another to ambition. We are all slaves in some way, whether to hope or to fear." The path to freedom, he taught, begins by recognizing those invisible chains. Think of your own life. What has power over you? It might be coffee you feel you cannot live without, cigarettes you need, the compulsion to check your phone constantly, or the obsession with gambling, always believing that someday you'll win big. Whatever dominates your mind and actions has more control over you than you have over yourself. If you cannot go without something, then that thing controls you. And here lies the key point. It's not the habit itself that defines you, but the dependency it creates. That thirst, that incessant craving, is what must be questioned. Some vices can be eliminated completely, others return in new forms. You may know someone who quit one vice only to replace it with another, trading one master for a different one. For the Stoics, it is precisely that need, that lack of freedom to abstain, that generates suffering. As long as you remain in the grip of a vice, you cannot reach greatness. Whatever the habit, even if society accepts it, it cannot rule your life. So this year, commit to truly freeing yourself from what chains you. Begin now. Your freedom and your greatness depend on it. Practice 5. Decide with reason, not just emotion. Those who never learn to control their emotions become vulnerable, like a ship without a rudder, at the mercy of waves and winds. And the danger is even greater. People who know how to manipulate emotions can steer your life without you noticing. Impulsive decisions are seeds of bitter harvests. The heat of emotion may feel irresistible in the moment, but it almost always leaves behind regret. Imagine this scenario. You have a close friend and an opportunity arises to start a business together. It's natural to feel enthusiasm, but if your decision comes only from that emotion, you might ignore essential factors: experience, work ethic, the ability to handle conflict. The result? A broken friendship and a failed project. We are taught to trust our emotions as a compass, but Stoicism reminds us that reality must be seen clearly, without the foggy lens of impulse. Questioning your feelings doesn't mean repressing them. It means balancing them with reason. And that balance creates inner freedom. Most advertisements don't sell products. They sell emotion, status, belonging, or instant pleasure. And often, we buy without even knowing why. The same mechanism drives much bigger life decisions: relationships, careers, health. Picture a woman already in debt who sees her dream handbag on sale. The impulse screams, "Now or never." Reason whispers, "Not the right time." If she gives in to emotion, she sinks deeper into debt. If she listens to reason, she plants the seed of financial stability. Think also of someone who, gripped by anger, fires off a harsh message that destroys a relationship, or someone swept up in euphoria who says yes to everything, only to drown in commitments they can't fulfill. Unfiltered emotion leads us to error. Here is the invitation. Place a rational filter on your decisions. It's not about silencing the heart, but giving it a partner, a clear mind. When reason and emotion walk together, your choices stop being blind reactions and become conscious decisions. Your challenge: for the next 7 days before any important decision, take a pause. Ask yourself, if I were not dominated by this emotion, would I still make this choice? Write down your answer. That simple habit can prevent deep falls and open the door to decisions that build, not destroy, your future. Remember, Emotion is the fire that moves, but reason is the hand that holds the torch. Alone, each blinds. Together, they illuminate the path. Practice 6. Focus on action. Epictetus's timeless question still makes sense today. How much longer are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius reflected on the same truth. He said, "We know what is good for us now, but we choose to postpone it. We tell ourselves, 'I'll do it later, when things calm down, when life gets back to normal, when my mind is clearer, when the time is right.' But that is the great lie we use to justify procrastination. Procrastination is a habit that, as Seneca said, all fools share. They live always preparing, always postponing, always excusing, always pushing things to later. But that's not what mentally strong people do. A Stoic does not wait for the perfect moment. They act. They gather strength, will, and discipline to face what needs to be done, and they do it. Not later. Not tomorrow. Now. The best time to start something was yesterday, or years ago, but the second best time is now. Think about it practically. Posting videos on YouTube to share your skills. Today there are thousands of people who are famous for teaching crochet, home cooking, sewing, repairs, and countless other things. They aren't necessarily smarter or more talented, they just started years ago. And those who arrive first drink the cleaner water. That means we must act if we want to achieve what we desire. There is no other time than the present. Every success you enjoy today is the result of decisions you made before. And every procrastination is the opposite. It is like saying, "I'll invest in my future later," or "I'll be my best tomorrow." But can you really afford that luxury? If you want good results tomorrow, next month, or next year, you must start making deposits today. Ask yourself, what actions am I postponing that could change my life? Don't say you'll do it later, do it now. Seneca warned us, fools are always getting ready to begin, but they never begin. So think about it. What if, instead of saying, "I'll do it later," you simply began now? Wouldn't it be better to stop waiting and take the first step? The future you want depends on the choices you make today. Tomorrow, you will only reap the consequences of those choices. Practice 7. Create your own value. Nothing is more fragile than depending on the admiration of others. If your worth is born from external applause, you will always live as a slave, celebrated today, forgotten tomorrow. Seneca already warned us. Whoever seeks the approval of others places their happiness in someone else's hands. That is exactly what happens when we let praise or criticism define who we are. From early on, we are conditioned to believe we only have value when we please. When a child is praised only for their grades, they learn to see themselves through a report card. When an adult receives applause at work, they feel they are only worthy then. This is the invisible prison that follows us, measuring our lives by the rulers of others. But Stoicism invites us to break that illusion. It reminds us that true authenticity does not come from social status, appearance, or what we can offer, but from a firm awareness of who we really are. Opinions change like the wind. One day you are exalted, the next you are criticized. Think of a statue in a public square. One day it receives flowers at its feet. The next it is the target of insults or neglect. Yet the stone remains the same. So must you be, firm, solid, with a value that comes from within, not from the fluctuations of outside voices. Build your merit through what you do, the character you show every day, the effort no one sees. True happiness comes when your actions align with your most authentic nature, when you do what you know is right, even if no one is watching. Do not let others' opinions dictate your worth. The world will sway, people will change, but you must remain the rock. Symbolic act. Write in the comments, "My value comes from me." Because from this moment on, you stop being hostage to external voices and begin building a fortress no one can tear down, confidence in yourself. As Ralph Waldo Emerson said, To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Practice 8. Stop trying to be perfect. Focus on progress. The pursuit of perfection can be a deadly trap for progress. Martha Graham, one of the greatest choreographers of the 20th century, experienced this painfully in the winter of 1931. After months working on a series of dances, she felt her work did not live up to her reputation. Even though dancers and friends praised her creation, she could only see flaws. Her frustration was so great, she believed the entire winter had been wasted. "I have destroyed my year," she lamented. This suffocating perfectionism is a common fate for talented people. The very high standards that help them achieve excellence can become a creative prison. As Winston Churchill said, "Perfectionism is the enemy of progress." Perfectionism traps us in resistance that, deep down, is fear. Fear of failure, fear of not being good enough, fear of vulnerability, of showing our work and being judged. The Stoics understood this struggle well. They did not defend perfectionism, they defended progress. For them, excellence came from constant effort to improve, one day at a time. Epictetus once asked, "Is it possible to avoid mistakes?" His answer, "No, but it is possible to work to minimize them." This perspective reminds us that the goal is not to be flawless, but to grow continuously. Perfectionism is not humility, it is not dedication, nor excellence. It can even be narcissism, a way of avoiding the discomfort of finishing and the risk of being exposed. Yet work is only complete when it is delivered. Progress requires courage to accept our imperfections, acknowledge our limits, and still move forward. Accepting that we will never be perfect is liberating. It means embracing progress instead of paralysis, learning instead of stagnation. It means having the courage to deliver a work, to start something and finish it. In the end, growth is not about reaching an ideal, but moving constantly in its direction. Practice 9. Seek out challenges. If we compare our lives today with that of a 16th century king, we'll notice something surprising. We live with more comfort than he ever dreamed of. We have hot water, medicine, abundant food, and comfort at every corner. But this comfort comes at a silent price. It lulls us, softens us, makes us believe life should always be easy. And when difficulties appear, as they always do, we are too fragile to endure them. The Stoics already knew this. In a world with far fewer resources, they defended the importance of imposing voluntary challenges, facing chosen discomforts. Because just as the body needs training to gain strength, the mind also needs hardening to stay firm against life's storms. Think about it. A muscle that is never used atrophies. The same happens with your courage, discipline, and resilience. If you never test yourself, you remain small. That's why we need to seek challenges intentionally, whether it's enduring the cold without complaint, turning off your phone for a whole day, exercising until you sweat, or waking up earlier than laziness allows. It's not about the discomfort itself, but about discovering through it that you are capable of far more than you imagine. Your challenge: for the next 7 days, choose one small difficulty each day, physical or emotional, and face it directly. It could be taking a cold shower, drinking coffee without sugar, skipping a meal, fasting, climbing the stairs instead of using the elevator. Or an emotional challenge: apologizing, starting a difficult conversation, speaking up when you'd rather stay silent. The point is to train yourself to embrace difficulty, so that when real challenges come, as they always will, you are already stronger, more resilient, and prepared. Practice 10. Live with purpose every day. The final practice brings together all the others, to live with a clear purpose. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves that life is short and uncertain. Memento mori, remember you will die, was not a phrase to frighten, but to awaken. It was a compass pointing to what truly matters. Think about this. How many times do we spend entire days consumed by small irritations, meaningless tasks, or distractions that leave no trace? And then suddenly we look back and realize another week, another month, another year has slipped through our fingers. Marcus Aurelius warned, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." Living with purpose means refusing to waste your days on what doesn't matter. It means asking yourself every morning, if today were my last, what would truly deserve my time and my presence? Sometimes the answer is simple: spending time with your family, cultivating your health, dedicating yourself to meaningful work, saying the words you've been postponing. I love you. I forgive you. Thank you. Purpose is not found in faraway goals. It's built in daily choices, in aligning your actions with your values. It's about putting clarity above distraction, courage above fear, discipline above laziness, wisdom above ignorance. And the beauty of purpose is this: you don't need to shout it to the world, you just need to live it, silently, consistently. Every step aligned with what matters transforms ordinary days into a meaningful life. Your challenge: for the next 7 days, begin each morning by asking yourself, what one thing will I do today that aligns with my true purpose? Then do it, quietly, without excuses. Write in the comments, "Today I live with purpose." Because when you decide to live with intention, every day becomes a victory, and your entire life becomes a masterpiece of clarity and meaning. These 10 Stoic practices are simple but powerful. Train your concentration, build a strong body and resilient mind, change your attitude, free yourself from bad vices, decide with reason, not just emotion, focus on action, create your own value, stop seeking perfection, focus on progress, seek out challenges, live with purpose every day. Together, they create a framework for clarity, courage, and freedom. The Stoics teach us that transformation does not come from grand events, but from small daily acts, quiet, intentional, consistent. And if you begin today, these practices will not just change your habits, they will change the very way you experience life.